signal now for when I'm needed. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning to them.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Beyond the Bat Signal. I am your host, Don Ikanika. Join me as we dive into the depths of Batman's lore, dissecting the Rogues Gallery, and uncovering the stories of our iconic vigilante known as the Dark Knight. Thank you very much for tuning in. I know it's been a few weeks since we had our last episode. This one I am so excited to finally share. I know I've shared previous episodes, first impressions of Batman Arkham Shadow. I have shared my review from watching it. I have finally played the game and beat it to its entirety, and I have thoughts that I want to share, and I have a lot of feelings that I want to share. Definitely to build on my first impressions review. Now, before I begin, I want to thank each of the listeners tuning in, whether it's from our neighbors in the United States, out in Europe, out in places like Italy, Ukraine, Denmark, Norway, Portugal, Spain. I'm not sure if I mentioned Ukraine. If I didn't, you were not forgotten. I did. Ukraine, booyah. And then places like Iran, and Japan. Incredible. I know I'm missing a few countries for sure. And then also to, I guess, the home country of Canada. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you can, I guess we'll do some household items while we're at it. Feel free to follow along on X/Twitter at Beyond the Bat Signal. But one thing I would love for each of you to do, whether you're listening on YouTube or you're listening to Apple or Spotify, is rate and review the show, as it really does help the show out and goes a long way. Takes a couple seconds of your time. It means the world to me. Get some feedback, and I guess it helps spread the word. And that's on any platform: Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio. I know a lot of you guys are even listening on Xbox, which is so cool. Now, let's get into today's episode. This is a full-out review of Batman Arkham Shadow. I played this game on MetaQuest 3, the VR headset, and I am giving you a full-out, unbiased opinion. This is going to be pure spoilers. It's not going to be as long of an episode as I know. Listen, we are probably just 6 months in since the release of this game, and a lot of you, I'm sure, have watched reviews. I'm giving you someone who has played PlayStation, Nintendo all his life, and this is the very first game I jumped into with a VR headset. And my initial thoughts that I share with you guys was that I was blown away. And every time I play it, I seem to bring up a conversation with a friend, my wife, my family, as to how much I love this game. And I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. And there's so much to discuss. And I think the first and foremost, because I'm currently doing the motions, is I'm constantly moving. And after an hour of playing this game, normally I'll play about an hour, almost not every day, because there's been quite a few disruptions going on in my life lately, and all good, but it's been a busy time. We all face it. But my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. But definitely, I feel like it's like a workout. And you feel so engaged and immersed into this game, and you definitely feel like you are the Dark Knight, and you are the one who's investigating, trying to find out who's the Rat King. And you can look around, and through physicality, through constant punches, I'm someone that has done boxing before. Man, I was fully immersed and engaged this entire time. When it came to the combat system, I had so much fun. And initially, when I started the game, I was like, okay, it took a little while getting used to, but the game does a fantastic job kind of adjusting you. It kind of realizes, listen, if you are a new player, let's get you acclimated to this game or acclimated to VR. And it's from something as simple as motion. So I suffer from motion sickness, but yet there's a lot of settings within this game that adjust to help those who do have motion sickness. And to be honest, I did not feel any of the effects. Thank goodness, because I was able to immerse myself and just have fun playing this game every single time I threw on the headset. And that's the first thing. I know a lot of people are like, well, how is it for people that have motion sickness? They have a lot of settings. You might have to play around with it a little bit. I'm not sure. And it's not like it's a lot of time to get used to, but you do have to get used to it. But nothing bad at all. I really did enjoy it. I didn't feel sick whatsoever. There was a lot of times whether I was climbing, or going onto these like bars and trying to get certain items, or near the end of the game when you're trying to see Harvey Dent / Two-Face and trying to get to him. It's so funny because, like, as much as I'm immersed in the game, I felt my body just kind of adjusting to climbing up just to go get Harvey. And that's just how the game made you feel. You felt immersed. And I guess my encouragement is because I want to make sure that people may have some skepticism towards the game. It's a VR headset. And I want to remove that, because that was me. And I love my PlayStation. I love my, the video game systems. But this is a true Batman game, true Arkham game, that I just had an absolute blast with. So, combat system did not disappoint. What you see online and what I initially felt, it only got better. Because you're able to unlock gadgets, throwing punches, moving around got better as you got more used to the game. Blade dodges was probably the coolest thing, because just like in boxing, right? Like if someone throws a punch, you're going under and under, and just slipping side to side, and that's exactly what I was doing. I kind of felt like I was a boxer, and it's like, okay, this guy's throwing a blade at me, or just kind of throwing a blade at me, and I'm just like dodging it, but also going under, and it makes you your body's just engaged in it. It was really cool experience. And even something like, so let's talk about the gadgets, right? Like, you're fully immersed. The combat, the combat where you're throwing punches, and sometimes you can't help yourself, where you get too excited. I fell into this a couple of times and then it kind of just brings on the screen too fast. Where you just want to go absolute ham on these goons, which don't worry, but because you do, because there's a lot of times where if you just do a simple cape stun, and it'll just say, okay, let's go, and it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, boom, 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 boom. And it's just like the Arkham games, right? Like, you can just throw punches, and it is the coolest thing. There's times where you're breaking arms, breaking legs, and you'll see like that circle yellow dot just pop up, and it's just like, that crunch sounds good. But I was talking about was the gadgets. With, first and foremost, the batarang, which is a lot of fun, and like you could throw it any which way, and it's kind of cool. It reminds me of the Batman, where he was able to take his bat symbol off his chest plate, and it's no different from Arkham Shadow, where you could do it and then throw a batarang. There's a time where you could even throw 2 at a time to stun the goons. And then you have something like, the smoke pellet, and just to hide yourself. There's even the disruptor. There's things like the gel, the explosive gel, and there's gadgets. Like, you have to use your hands to get this from your utility belt. The only thing where I wasn't too big, I wish it kind of felt like it should have been engaged in a different way, was to use the grapple gun by pushing A. I wish that was kind of just on my utility belt, and I was able to kind of just like point to where I wanted to point. Point where I wanted to point, and then use a trigger or something rather than pressing A. But heck, like, you know what? This is just minor complaints because truly, I love this game. Then there was like even the graphics, like, you know, I had the MetaQuest 3, not the 3S, and this looked fantastic. Is it as realistic as like a PlayStation 5? No, but this game looked phenomenal. The way everything looked, the way the city felt when you look out at Gotham City, and like I mentioned in my initial thoughts review, where you're pretty much hooked. The second you walk out of this apartment building, you see Ace Chemicals, you see the bat signal, and you're like, holy smokes, I'm in. Like, I can't wait to finish this game. I can't wait to play this game. You have me hooked right away. It's like at the start of a movie, it's like an action scene. No, it's not an immediate action, but like just the way you're kind of just immersed into this room, and then the way you interact with like even something like, you know, lighting up the bottle of alcohol and then throwing it to the bat signal. This game knows what it is, and it's not shy of being what it is. And like the developers, like, you got to give it up to Camouflage, the studio who really studied the Arkham universe and made you want to feel like you were in an Arkham game, and they did their absolute best, and my God, did they deliver. Like I said, I was fresh. I was just playing Arkham Knight not too long ago, and then I immediately switched over to playing Arkham Shadow, and it almost felt like a simple transition. However, the only thing was I was the Knight. I had a headset on to play. I didn't have to button smash or anything like that whatsoever, and I loved it. Like, this was, man, can I just say that this game was fun? And when we play video games, that's what it's all about. We should have fun playing these games. That's exactly why we buy it, right? It's to get ourselves away from the real world, turn our brains off, and just have fun. And I can't tell you how many times I look forward to putting that headset on and loading the game up and just immersing myself. I love the fact that there are little hidden references, little Easter eggs, and you can progress with the story. And that was the other thing. So let's touch upon that. Yes, this game is incredibly fun. The combat helps with that. But the way when I put that headset on and I'm looking around and I see a room, whether it's the Batcave, whether it's Blackgate Prison, whether it is, I don't know, you're even within the city of Gotham, you're on top of the rooftop and you see Ace Chemicals. It's those little things, and you just immediately feel like you are in this video game. You are the Knight. With the story, it did not disappoint. My initial thoughts when I was watching Arkham videos, play through it all, and I loved it then. I love it now. I said my only gripe, and I stick by it, was, you know, they had the Days of Wrath. They built up to it, and then nothing really happened, right? It ended up being that Harvey Dent was the Rat King. And I kind of felt like they should have kind of built up to who is this Rat King. It didn't really have an effect. And I kind of wish that was played off a little different. However, they did go deep in the psychological part. Like, and I think both Bruce Wayne and Batman and Harvey Dent had beautiful arcs. They show cut scenes of their childhood and as they grew older together and became best friends. When Bruce lost his parents, Harvey Dent's alcoholic father, who was very abusive, and you have Leslie Tompkins, who played such a vital role in this video game and in the story. I loved her addition. I love like the little things matter in life. When people notice and do the little things, you're like, nice touch, and I love that about it. This game does those little things right. Something as small as there was like a little scrapbook that Leslie Tompkins had, and it had Bruce and Harvey's life throughout the years. And you can kind of flip through the pages. Really cool. You can pick up newspapers and read it. You can read the newspaper. The one cool thing was at one point, Matches Malone, who's Bruce Wayne, got stabbed in the hand. And you look at the end of the game where Bruce Wayne's going to visit Two-Face, and he's sitting with Leslie Tompkins. And I look at my hand, and you can see the scar. So that cut, it left a scar. And I was just like, see, it's those little details that Camouflage realized. And in all honesty, like all the Arkham games do an excellent job of recognizing the little details, which is very important. But going back to the story, you included some big villains like Two-Face. You included some other villains like Carmine Falcone, which I thought was fantastic the way they included him. I loved the way that Matches Malone was able to kind of assist him. I love that this game included Lockup. He was a beast in this game. Like, what a big male specimen. My God. And the way, the boss fights were so much fun. And the other thing, which you even see the birth, and like they slowly include it as you're traveling back. Most frequently, like when you get a lot of the story for the ventriloquist is when you're going from Matches Malone and going back to change into becoming Batman. And the ventriloquist, Scarface, and just how that slowly builds up, because they're basically your neighboring cell. They're right next door to you. And you can always look in and hear their conversations. It's really cool. Like, it's those subtle details. But Dr. Jonathan Crane and Dr. Harley Quinzel, you get pretty much the birth of both of them. And, I've already explained it once before, but like how Harley Quinn is pretty much a great doctor. Like, she starts off good. She cares about her patients. But when you go into her office, you can see, like, you can walk around, look at her notes, and you can tell that she's in love with Mr. J, the Joker, and how it all starts. And you can see, like, the subtle things, like the diamonds, the Argyle, or like, how she's always wearing red. And there's Argyle also on her. Like, it's subtle hints that they leave, which I love. And then at the end of the game, you can see that Harleen Quinzel, or HQ, she just, this patient, 8181, hope you got that one, was released and removed from Blackgate and signed off by Dr. Harleen Quinzel. So Dr. Q was the one who released Joker, and I thought, oh, beautiful. I love it. Camouflage did not shy. Like, I was reading reviews and they're saying, oh, there's some bugs. I didn't encounter any bugs, but I thought that Camouflage, at this point, they were doing frequent updates, and I'm talking monthly, to give to the fans. And they were just, it seemed like they listened to the customer feedback, the fans, and what they wanted. And they took it all into account and fixed and addressed every single one of them. Oh, beautiful. Chef's kiss. Which helped with the story, right? So something as small as adding another, like, you can check your messages. You could check, like, one of them was Andrea Beaumont, and talk about how that's my favorite Bruce Wayne love interest. And when you're even dialing the phone, Andrea Beaumont, you can call in and listen into her voice and what she has to say. Even the end cutscene with Dick Grayson and Batman embracing Dick and welcoming him in, the tongue twister. And it's those little things that really make this game truly special. However, I did not mention one boss fight that I need to discuss that blew me away. Right from the word where, like, you're kind of in an illusion and you inhale like this shadow toxin, and that's thanks to Dr. Jonathan Crane. So however, let me start off by saying, when you look into his eyes and he's had the shadow, and you look and they're bloodshot, you can tell that he's been on something, right? But this boss fight was with none other than Shadow Batman. So it was, or like Nightmare Batman. I don't know. I kind of think of Nightmare Batman from Batman Begins, which is, I think, celebrating 20 years this year, which, wowza. Anyway, that was wild and kind of freaky. Had a lot of fun visually, and like, you're just looking, you're hearing the sounds, and like the VR headset does a great job with the sounds. And like, when you're fighting this boss, it was it just felt like I was in a nightmare. It felt like anytime you play against Scarecrow, it's kind of scary. It's kind of intimidating. It's kind of your nerves are up, your hands start to sweat, and this was no different. That definitely stuck out as my favorite boss fight without a doubt. I really did enjoy that, and it's something that you have to experience. You have to play. There's only so much you can do by watching it, and it's something where, for me, I could say unequivocally, like, this is a must-purchase game. Like, if you're an Arkham fan, you need to purchase this game and play it. It is so much fun. It adds to the Arkham universe, and like, it's just, I don't know. The game does a good job focusing on B-list villains and and building other villains up. And I love that how they just kind of packed on to the story that already is, and just added to it and added additional meaty layer to it, which, again, that just goes on to the review that it did not disappoint. With the end of the game, they have like even like end credits meeting with Harvey Dent / Two-Face, and the way, I think it's Troy Baker, does the voice for Harvey Dent and Two-Face. Oh my god, it's so good. Like, how he just gets in that deep voice. I can't do it, but does a wonderful job, and it's masterful. And you can just look at the raw side of Two-Face on his face, and you're just like, wow, that's disgusting. It looks really good though, graphically. And yeah, like, I love how they add to the story. I love how, like, there's like little Easter eggs. Like, there's kind of something that they allude to with Batgirl, like a Batman-like figure that's out in the night. Even like with Dick Grayson, like, little things were just coming together. I love how you had to take off the cowl in order to switch into Matches Malone, and then when you're Matches Malone, and you had to dress up as Batman. It's super cool. It was just a lot of fun, and at the end they decide to like destroy the Batcave. It so neat. And as a person that played VR for the first time and played it to its entirety, this game, I had a blast. The amount of detail that Camouflage has given Arkham fans and new fans, and I'm really curious to hear from the new fans what they thought. It was funny. So I was getting some stuff moved. As I told you before, there's a lot going on. So we have a couple movers coming in. They notice the VR headset, and the guy's like, "Oh, I have one." And I'm like, "Oh, what do you think?" And he's like, "It's incredible. Like, I'm all about it." I used to play Steam, and now I'm all about playing on the MetaQuest 3. And he plays horror games, and I said, "You need to try Batman Arkham Shadow." And it's just something else. And kind of curious when I do see it, because he will be helping us soon, what his thoughts were. But he does want to check it out. He's all about checking out brand new games. And I said, like, this is game of the year. And it's very special. And I'm sure for the team over at Camouflage, they work their tails off. And listen, you don't just drop massive updates what was it, 3 or 4 months, maybe 5 months in a row, and say, oh yeah, they slacked. Like, no, these guys worked their butts off, and Game of the Year award was well deserved. Anything less is obviously, you know, to me, they've gone above and beyond what I think any of the fans expected. And, kudos to them. They deserve all the accolades they get and more. I know for me, this is a 9.5 out of 10 game. And I'm just being nitpicky, to be honest. And otherwise, I thought that this was a solid game. It's up there. Like, when you want to talk about favorite Arkham game, you cannot leave this out of the conversation. You just can't. And I remember on my episode of with Ryan Lauer, and I was telling him even on air and off air, just saying like how much I actually really enjoy this game. And like we did a ranking of all the Arkham games, and I said this is one that you need to play. And if you can get your hands on it, definitely check it out. And yeah, and that's my recommendation. I'm kind of curious to what your guys' thoughts are, because like there was one thing with the VR headset, and I'll give I guess for me some, I guess my constructive feedback was the battery it lasted around an hour and a half, which is fine. Even the controllers, which are go on each hand, you have to use a battery, and I kind of wish that it just like an iPhone. Oh my goodness, the PS5 controllers, you can kind of just plug it in and charge it up. Kind of wish we could do that with the MetaQuest 3 controllers. They can just plug it in rather than have to use batteries. That's just me being nitpicky. And the MetaQuest 3 headset, it did feel a little heavy at times. Just had to kind of adjust. But again, that's me being completely constructive, providing constructive criticism. But other than that, I feel like the game really fulfilled a lot of my high expectations for an Arkham game. And I think that the team over at Camouflage knew that the expectations for themselves were going to be high, because Arkham fans, listen, we've been ridiculously spoiled with an abundance of good games. Like Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum, City, and Night have just all been spectacular. And they're like, man, we gotta up our game. And not saying that Iron Man was bad. I'm just saying that they want to be in that conversation of best Batman game. And whether that was their intention or not, they did not disappoint. They followed the storylines. There was no plot holes between City, Asylum. Like they did. It was even the small little details of like Harvey Dent. Like, Harvey Dent knew who Bruce Wayne took. Batman took off his cowl, and Two-Face saw it was Bruce. But yet down the line, Harvey Dent kind of like forgot that Bruce Wayne was Batman, and it just never came out. And it's those little things. They even added like a secret Riddler data pack. So cool. Like they include the Easter eggs, which is beloved by so many Arkham fans that we appreciate. You can interact with spaces that you're in by, we got the dog going off. But by simply opening up doors, it's, you can look at machines, those little rat trophies that you can break. They even have like those propaganda messages that you can just kind of pull out and smash. And it's very, very immersive and interactive, which honestly I truly enjoyed. And I felt was so different from playing a PlayStation game. Rather than just hitting X triangle, you're using your own hand motions and doing it yourself. And like you can look at the one cool thing I was always amazed about was like you can look at your hands, and if you push the trigger down, your fingers go down. If you put your index finger forward, I mean, you can go and start dialing different numbers, and it's like all these like random companies that you can go and listen to. right? Whether it's GCPD, a psychiatrist, there's a bunch that obviously off the top of my head I can't remember. They even have a cool one with Riddler, and it was an Easter egg from Batman the Animated Series. If you're so smart, why are you not rich? If I'm not mistaken. Now, going forward, what is my wish list? I feel like this game put everything on an Arkham fans wish list, and they fulfilled every single one of them. Would I love for them to write another Arkham game and create it? Heck yeah. I really hope that, I know that this is exclusively for the MetaQuest. I really hope that Arkham fans get a chance to play this game, because it deserves to get the recognition and play that it deserves, because, you know, these developers, the people that worked on this game, put their hearts into it, and you can tell. Just play the game, watch it online, and just see for yourself. You know, my final verdict for this game, is it for hardcore Arkham fans, VR enthusiasts, both? Yeah, it's for both. People who love the Arkham game, or anyone that has a VR headset, you know, this is something worthwhile playing. The price tag, and like, yeah, is it worth the price tag? Heck yeah. This is a full-fledged, at minimum, 10-hour game, but then there's little things that you like. The replayability about this game is fantastic. Like, you know, obviously they have New Game Plus, which I'm gonna go play. They have the Predator mode, which I didn't even mention about, but that was a lot of fun. And, you know, they recreated various levels throughout the Arkham franchise, which you can replay. Man, that alone, so much fun. And definitely worth checking out, especially in the perspective of Batman. Like, you are Batman. It's through his eyes, and it's definitely worth checking out. And like, kudos to Camouflage for recreating the levels to look identical to previous Arkham games. Big ups to you. But like, what this means for Camouflage, like the people that wrote this. So I'm looking at you, Ryan Payton. You guys and the team over at Camouflage, you guys did a fantastic job. All the recognition that you guys are getting, well deserved. And to the fans, I encourage you to go out. If you don't have a VR headset, help yourself. They have one that's very affordable at the 3S, the MetaQuest 3S. And then they have the other hardware, which is the MetaQuest 3. And it is such a fun game. Like, the game itself is worth the price to get this. And they have so much to offer within the MetaQuest 3. A lot of games. So, with that said, that is my overall review, my overall thoughts. I hope that the excitement and passion I had for this game, I finally finished it, and I can't wait to play it again. Like, I really do. I'm not just saying that and blowing smoke up anyone. It's something I enjoyed. And I hope, maybe if you guys have played it, maybe if you haven't, but you are about to, share your thoughts with me. I would love to hear all about it. You can share that via email at beyondthebatsignal@gmail.com, or at X/Twitter at beyondbatsignal, where you can reach me and let me know how you feel, what you think. And if you've watched it, like, is there any questions that you might have? I might be able to answer, because I'm more than willing to talk about this game. I think I've talked about and mentioned this game and made, I think at most, was it 4 episodes thus far, just about the game itself. Maybe that's 3. I know the trailer. I know my hands-on experience. No, for sure 4, because I did a review as well, and now this one. So, with that being said, that is my review. My name is Dominic. This is Beyond the Bat Signal, and we are signing off.